Let's say your paycheck arrives. You open your banking app, look at the number, and for a moment everything feels fine. But then the spending starts. Rent, groceries, a couple subscriptions. Maybe you grab takeout a few times during the week. And before you know it, the money is basically gone. Then you see financial advice online, saying things like, just budget better, track every dollar, cut your spending. Which sounds great in theory, but in reality most people try budgeting for about 3 days before giving up. Because detailed budgets can feel exhausting. You have to track everything. Categorize everything. Think about every purchase. And honestly, most people don't have the patience for that. So I started wondering, is there a simpler system that actually works? That's when I decided to test something called the 50-30-20 rule for 30 days. And the results were, honestly, pretty surprising. My name is Jack. If you're someone who feels like budgeting never works for you, or your money just disappears every month, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Alright. First, let's talk about what the 50-30-20 rule actually is. Because despite the complicated name, the concept is incredibly simple. Your income gets divided into 3 categories. 50% for needs, 30% for wants, 20% for saving and investing. That's it. No complicated spreadsheets. No tracking 40 different expense categories. Just 3 buckets. Now here's the idea behind it. Needs are the things you must pay for to live. Rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance. Then you have wants, restaurants, entertainment, shopping, travel. Basically the things that make life enjoyable but aren't essential. And finally, the last 20% goes towards saving, investing, or paying down debt. Now, before I tried this system, I was skeptical. Because financial advice online tends to sound great, but often falls apart in real life. But I wanted to test it honestly. So let's walk through the numbers. Imagine someone earns $4,000 per month after taxes. Using the 50-30-20 rule, the budget would look like this. $2,000 for needs, $1,200 for wants, $800 for saving and investing. Simple, clear, no guesswork. Now here's the thing. When I first looked at my spending, it didn't look anything like that. And this is where it gets really interesting. Most people assume their biggest expenses are things like rent or groceries. But research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that discretionary spending, things like dining out, subscriptions, and entertainment, can quietly take up a huge portion of income. And the problem is, those expenses feel small individually, but together they add up quickly. For example, $15 lunch here, $20 subscription there, $30 dinner delivery. Do that several times a week, and suddenly you're spending hundreds of dollars without noticing. So for the next 30 days, I followed the 50-30-20 rule as closely as possible. And here's what happened. The first thing I noticed was awareness. Not strict budgeting, just awareness. Because once you know you have a fixed amount for wants, your brain naturally starts prioritizing. Instead of mindlessly spending, you start asking simple questions like, do I actually want this more than something else later this week? And that small shift changes behavior dramatically. Now you might be thinking, okay, Jack, but what if my needs already take up more than 50% of my income? That's a great question.